Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I'm going to show you thing 3 and thing 4 from my 100 things. This is the skein of yarn that I made this is thing 3. It's very soft, very squishy, and it's just made from little scraps that I had. Some of it was some of the wool that was dyed red that Tanya brought me. Some of it was the cream colored wool, the fleece that she brought. Some of it was stuff I had in my stash, and I just spun little bits of a bunch of different stuff and made a skein out of it. Here we go. And so you can see it's not it's got all kinds of stuff in it. There's browns and pinks, and there's some that's just cream. So it's not it's a scrap skein. A scrappy skein, that's what it is. And I don't know how much is here. Let's see. Okay, so this is a little bigger than a yard. I'm counting. Okay, there's more than 75 yards of a little more than 75 yards of yarn here. And so this is my thing 3 that I got done, and I'm happy, very happy with it. Hannah really likes it, and she just bought herself a just that. It's hard to wind a skein and talk. She just bought herself a little bonsai tree, and she wants to use it. She wants to crochet a coaster to go under the pot. So that's what she's gonna do with it. The pinks in here are the same color that are in the pot that it's sitting in. So and they're colors that go good in her room. So I'm gonna let her have this to do that. So there's thing 3. And this is thing 4, and it was also thing 2 when I made the bat. The bat is thing 2, but I'm gonna turn it into roving and spin it, and so that'll be thing 4. So I'm getting that's one thing about fiber stuff, is that you get you get a lot of fun out of it. You get prepare the fibers, and then you spin it, and then you weave or crochet or knit or whatever. But even in the preparing the fibers, there's several steps to go through. So it's fun. What I'm going to do with the bat, there are lots of ways you can spin a bat, but one way is to split it, and I'm going to do a hybrid of ways. One way is to split it. One way is to roll it up and spin from it. One way is to roll it up and then diz it off into roving. Or you could diz it from a bat if you want to. What I'm going to do is, or you can do split it like this, where you leave it attached and make roving from it. If I was going to do that, I would have done it thinner than this. My splits would have been smaller. But what I want to do is take the split bat, and I'm not splitting it all the way. Technically, when you do this, you're making a roving out of it, because it's all one long piece. But what I'm going to do is take this beautiful split up bat here, and then I'm going to I'm going to use my little homemade Diz, and I'm going to Diz it into roving. So what you do is you pull. Oh, there's a little piece of straw. Might as well get it out when I see it. You don't have to do that, but, and then pull back. And this is one reason to do this, is because it gets the fibers kind of moving where they're not caught, you know, they're used to moving, so you can draft easier. Because you could spin from this just like it is. You don't want to pull too far or you'll pull it apart and you won't have a continuous roving. Not that that's important. You can spin it pulled apart. Whoops. And probably if I'm spinning it in my recliner, I will be pulling it apart into smaller pieces anyway. But I just thought I would show y'all. And this just, see how smooth the roving looks when you do this? It just smooths it out and makes it into a preparation that's easier to spin than this big bat. And like I said, you can spin the big bat, but here I'm going to have to be kind of careful because this is the bend. Oh, okay. So I broke it off, but that's okay. I've got this much roving. Right now we will take it and we will turn it into a little bird's nest of beauty and set it right there. And then we'll keep going. One thing I want to do with this is spin it a little bit chunkier. Not a real chunky yarn, but not a real fine yarn either, because I want to emphasize all the variety of fibers that are in here. Plus, if you spin it this way, you don't worry if you're not trying to spin it fine, then you don't worry about making a perfectly smooth yarn. And this will not make a perfectly smooth yarn unless you're like some super master spinner. You could make something closer. But I'm not going to be able to get a perfectly smooth yarn out of it, that's for sure. And right here was another bend, and that's so it's really messy right there, but that's not a problem since we're not going to be worrying about trying to make a perfect yarn out of it. Oops, there we did it again. Okay, that's all right. We'll just make another bird's nest. Make another bird's nest. Well, come on. That first little skein I showed you was just me trying to get used to the wheel. I have spun 4 ounces of a merino prep top from and if you're in the group, you saw me post a picture kind of that. But that 4 ounces of that yarn, and I've got it plied, and it is washed and drying right now. So when it gets dry, I'll present it as a thing in the future. And don't worry, not all of my things are going to be spinning related, but a lot of them will be, because that's what I'm enjoying right now. And I've got a huge stash of stuff that needs to be used. And now I can do it again. I'm finally able to spin again, and it makes me very happy. Okay, that was another bend. Oops. Okay, I'm being too impatient, so I'm making several bird's nests. But like I said, that's okay. See if we can thin it out a little bit here. Nope. Okay. But one thing about these kinds of bats that you make on the drum carder is that when you just grab stuff and throw it in there, little bits of whatever you got, you're not ever going to make this bat again. So however much yarn this bat makes, that's how much of this yarn you're going to have. You can weigh out your fibers, all the different fibers you're going to put in a bat, and you can make several bats that are close enough to the same that they can be used together, and that way you can have more of the same fiber, so you can make a bigger project. This one was just using bits of things, and so it's yeah, I'm glad I did this instead of trying to spin off the bat, because there's all different lengths of fibers in here, and they don't all want to draft. So this is helping it get started. I don't know how much this bat weighed. I know it's less than 2 ounces because I know it didn't fill up the drum carder, and 2 ounces is a pretty good amount for that drum carder. So okay, and then so I've got 5 little nests now instead of one big bat, or one. It's not actually that big of a bat, but you know what I mean. And so now I'm going to take these and I'm going to spin them, and I'm going to like I said, I'm going to be spinning it however it spins. One of the hardest things to do is to try to make a fiber do something it doesn't want to do, because you've decided that's what you want to do with it. And I'm not a good enough spinner to I've got fluff in my nose, sorry. I'm not a good enough spinner to be able to do that easily, so I typically spin my fiber however it wants to spin. Now, I can spin finer, I noticed, on this electric wheel than I could on my regular spinning wheel. And I know that because I've never spun 4 ounces of a fiber and came out with a 2-ply yarn that was 470 or a little bit more yards long. That's the most yardage I've ever gotten out of 4 ounces of fiber. So that was really cool to do that. And I'll show you that skein when it's done. But in this, I've got so many different fibers, it's probably going to be a thick and thin kind of yarn, because the different fibers will want to spin differently. So I'm going to, I think this is the smallest one. So we're going to start with it. And I'm going to move these out of the way. And we're going to, let's start with this skinnier end here. We're going to see what we can do. Now let's see if I turn this on. Did I turn it on? I can't remember what's on and what's not on that battery, so we will find out here in a second. No, I didn't. Okay. Where's the button? Okay. All right. I'm just going to put a little bit of fiber in here to start out with. And I don't know how much take up I've got going. Not much. And I don't know what speed I've got it on. Probably too much. Okay. So we're going to see what I can do with this. I can tell right now I could spin this a lot finer, but I'm really not wanting to. Okay, it's not taking on, so okay, just a second. Let me draft out some more and take out some of that twist that's all built up in there. Oops. Okay. Maybe that's too much tension. Okay, let's see. Nope. It's not taking up. Okay, you got to do this sometimes. Figure out what's going on. All right. I'm going to break this off. Break it off. We're just going to, we'll use that in some mixed media some. I got to figure out what's going on here. And it's Z twist, which is what I want. This is on the where it goes. This is where it goes. All right, let's try again, see if we can get it. I can't tell if that's gonna okay. Well, I'm going to tighten it up a little bit more. I guess that's what it needed. I'm going to spin just enough on here for you to see what I'm doing. I'm not going to make you watch me spin the whole skein of yarn, but then you have to move the little, you can't see it here, but there's a little flyer hook right here. And as you go, you have to move it over so that the yarn can, let's see if I can do this a little bit more over here so you can see it go on there better. Okay. What's going on? It's overspinning, way overspinning. Okay, let's see if we can see what's going on now. Let's move it just a little bit more. Let's try again here. We're going to do a prep that's not exact. It's not long draw, but it's similar in that I'm stopping the, just letting it twist into my preparation instead of stopping that from happening and drafting back. I don't know how much of that you can see, but that seems to be how this one wants to spin. Okay. Well, a lot of twists get in there now. Okay. I'm just using a combination of whatever's working for the moment, since these fibers are all changing as we speak. Okay. Right there is way over twisted. I have no, this is not, it's not pulling on like it should, and so it's twisting it a lot more once it gets in there. And I don't think I need to tension it more, but maybe I do. Let's see if we can. I got used to the tension that I was using when I was spinning really fine, and I'm not spinning like that right now, so that may be. Okay. I think that's working a little bit better with more tension. I just didn't have quite enough tension on it, I guess. This is the bat I called an art yarn bat. I would really call it more of a textured yarn bat, I guess. There are certain kinds of yarns that are specifically art yarns that are like coils and boucle and all kinds of different kinds of yarns, but I'm not sure what if there's a specific definition for art yarn or not. Okay, here is what it looks like right now. And that's with one of my little pieces of one of my little coils or bird. I think I'm going to go ahead and just do one more real quick, and I'll do the rest in the house after that. So you can see, in order to put them together, you just overlap them like this, and then draft them together. And we just let this one, be what it wants to be. After doing all that spinning, just so you have an idea of how much spinning's involved in that yarn I just did that you haven't seen yet. It's 700, I think 737 yards, something like that, of a 2-ply yarn, which means we spun twice that much singles, and then we spun those 2 singles together to make that yardage. So I spun that 400 and I think it was 470 yards. I spun it 3 times. So that really is spinning, like 1,400 yards before it's finished. Just the spinning part to get the 400 and something yards of yarn. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. The guys were mowing the weeds and dirt next door, and they have even more weeds and more dirt than I have at my house. And so and then I was out there talking to him about a little project that I was wanting to know if he would do for us, this guy who was doing the mowing. And so I was out in all of that, and my allergies are really acting up. Now that I've got the tension figured out, this is working out much better. And you have to figure it out, because each kind of prep that you're working, you have to figure out the tension for that thing. And I'm sure if you spin a lot of the same kind of thing all the time, you know exactly what tension, where to start your tension and all of that. I haven't spun anything like this in a long time, so, and I haven't, of course, obviously never spun something like this on this spinner, so I didn't have a clue what the tension needed to be. Okay, let's move this over. And then I didn't get enough twist even to hold it together, so okay. You want enough twist to hold it together, especially if you're going to apply it, which I do intend to apply this back on itself. So I'm going to apply it from a what do you call it, a center pull ball, and I'll show you how I do that when we get to that stage. So some of these things that I'm doing in the spinning, they take a lot more time than some other things that I'll be doing. Okay, just got to kind of watch how the bobbin's filling up so I can move it when it's time. Okay, I am going to take let's go ahead and roll this on. So that I can set it aside and take it inside with me and work on it. And when I get it all spun, then I'll bring it back out here and show you how I wind it into a center pull ball and apply from that. So that will be, I'll probably just add that on to the end of this rather than making another video. But no, I think I'll make a Thing 4 Part 2 video. That's what I'll do. I'll make a Thing 4 Part 2 video when I do the winding it off into a center pull ball and applying it so that you can actually see that process. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.